5-year-old Shaniya Davis was supposed to be safe with her mother. Her father was away for work, and for the first time in a long time, he believed Shaniya and her mother might finally have a chance to reconnect. Instead, within weeks, Shaniya vanished. Her mother told police she had simply disappeared. Neighbors searched. Her father begged for her safe return. And investigators initially treated it like a missing child case. But then surveillance footage surfaced from a hotel almost 40 miles away. It showed a man carrying Shaniya through the hallway. And that man wasn't a stranger. He knew her mother. Tonight, we're going through the disappearance and murder of Shaniya Davis, the hotel footage that cracked the case, and the disturbing truth investigators uncovered about her mother. Welcome to the podcast You Can't Unhear. Shaniya Nicole Davis was born on June 14, 2004. She was 5 years old in the fall of 2009. For much of her life, Shaniya had been raised primarily by her father, Bradley Lockhart, and members of his family. Bradley's sister, Carrie, became especially important in Shaniya's life. The family remembered her as energetic, affectionate, and deeply loved. Her relationship with her biological mother, Antoinette Davis, was far less stable. According to accounts from Shaniya's father's side of the family, Antoinette had not been consistently involved in raising her. Then, in autumn 2009, something changed. Bradley had work that would take him out of town. Antoinette asked if Shaniya could stay with her. For Bradley, it looked like an opportunity. Maybe mother and daughter could finally rebuild something. Maybe Antoinette was getting her life together. So Shaniya went to stay with her mother. That decision would haunt the family forever. Early that Tuesday morning, Antoinette reported her daughter missing from a mobile home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The story initially sounded frightening but familiar. A little girl had disappeared. Police needed to find her quickly. Searches began, missing child alerts spread, and investigators started looking at the people closest to the home. At first, police arrested a man named Clarence Coe. He was described as Antoinette's boyfriend and was charged with kidnapping. But Coe insisted he had nothing to do with Shaniya's disappearance. And very quickly, another piece of evidence appeared. A hotel employee in Sanford, roughly 40 miles from Fayetteville, recognized Shaniya from television coverage. There was surveillance footage, and on that footage, a man could be seen carrying a small girl through the hotel. The man was Mario McNeill. Suddenly, the investigation had a completely different direction. The surveillance footage placed McNeill with Shaniya on the same morning she disappeared. At approximately 6:11 a.m., the camera captured him carrying her toward an elevator at a Sanford hotel. That mattered enormously, because Antoinette had presented this as a mysterious disappearance. Now, police had evidence showing Shaniya hadn't simply wandered away. She was with someone who knew her mother. Investigators searched McNeill's Mitsubishi. They recovered children's clothing, blankets, and other evidence. McNeill eventually turned himself in. He admitted taking Shaniya, but initially denied killing her. And for a few agonizing days, there was still a possibility that Shaniya might be alive somewhere. Then investigators started looking more closely at her mother. As detectives questioned Antoinette, the version she had given them became harder to sustain. According to prosecutors, Antoinette owed McNeill money. Later court proceedings described it as a $200 debt connected to drugs, food, and hotel expenses. And the state's allegation was horrifying. Antoinette gave her 5-year-old daughter to McNeill to settle that debt. When police announced charges against Antoinette on November 14th, they included human trafficking, felony child abuse involving prostitution, filing a false police report, and obstruction. This was no longer a stranger abduction story. According to investigators, Shaniya had been handed over by someone whose job was to protect her. Her mother. But police still had one urgent problem. They didn't know where Shaniya was. Information connected to McNeill eventually directed searchers toward a rural area south of Sanford, near the Lee-Harnett County line. Search teams worked through difficult terrain. Then, on November 16th, 6 days after Shaniya was reported missing, her body was found off a rural road in an overgrown area. The hope that she might still be alive ended there. Court documents later established that Shaniya had been sexually assaulted and killed on the same day she disappeared. Her cause of death was asphyxia from strangulation or suffocation. She was 5. McNeill's case didn't reach trial until 2013. By then, prosecutors had built a much larger picture of what happened after Shaniya left her mother's home. The North Carolina Supreme Court's later review states that jurors convicted McNeill of first-degree murder based on both premeditation and felony murder. He was also convicted of sexual offense of a child by an adult offender, taking indecent liberties with a child, first-degree kidnapping, human trafficking, and subjecting a child to sexual servitude. The jury rejected his denial. And during the penalty phase, McNeill made another unusual decision. Against his lawyer's advice, he declined to present evidence or witnesses asking jurors to spare his life. The jury unanimously recommended death. On May 30th, 2013, Mario McNeill was sentenced to death. He continued insisting he hadn't killed Shaniya, but the conviction stood. In 2018, the North Carolina Supreme Court reviewed the case, found no reversible error, and upheld both the convictions and the death sentence. Antoinette's case ended differently. She was originally facing extremely serious charges, including first-degree murder. But in October 2013, she entered an Alford plea. That means she didn't formally admit every allegation, but acknowledged that prosecutors had enough evidence that a jury would likely convict her. She entered pleas to charges including second-degree murder, first-degree kidnapping, human trafficking, felony child abuse, and offences connected to sexual exploitation. The judge sentenced her to 210 to 261 months in prison, roughly 17 and a half to nearly 22 years, meaning that she may be released next year at the earliest according to this calculation. He also told her something brutally simple. She had opportunities to save Shaniya, and she didn't. At sentencing, Antoinette apologized to Bradley Lockhart and said she had allowed her pride to keep Shaniya in the environment where this happened. But an apology couldn't undo what had already happened. On November 22nd, 2009, more than 2,000 people gathered at Manor Church in Fayetteville for Shaniya's funeral. Many had never met her. They had only seen her face on television, helped search, shared her photograph, or prayed she would come home. Her father spoke. He asked people not to respond with anger. He turned toward his daughter's casket and talked about seeing her again someday. NBA star Shaquille O'Neal later paid for the funeral expenses. It was one of those cases where an entire community seemed to adopt one little girl, because the people who should have protected her had failed her so completely. True crime usually makes us search for motive. Money, jealousy, revenge, freedom. Some enormous thing that explains why somebody crossed a line they could never come back from. But according to prosecutors, the debt sitting at the center of this story was only $200. There was no fortune, no inheritance, no life-changing amount of money. Just a 5-year-old child, placed in the hands of a dangerous adult by someone who was supposed to protect her. And that's why, more than the court cases, more than the death sentence, more than the horrifying circumstances investigators uncovered, the most important thing is remembering who Shaniya was before any of this happened. She was a daughter, a niece, a little girl whose father's family described her as vibrant, loving, and full of energy. Her father thought he was giving her something good. Time with her mother. A chance for that relationship to grow. Instead, October 9th, 2009, became the last day her aunt would ever watch Shaniya run through that door. Thanks for joining me tonight. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. Don't forget that we're doing a special series this week, so I'll see you there. Bye!